Hey, welcome to 821 John, retired and just a little salty. I don't know what to tell anybody because I don't have to anymore. I'm happy again. PTSD and depression suck, but death is the end, not PTSD, depression, things like that. No. Welcome back to WWE CM Punk. Somehow we saw that coming. Cult of personality and all that kind of stuff. I wore the CM Punk shirt to WrestleMania 28 in Miami, Florida, April 1st, 2012, because that authenticity spoke to me, much like Roddy Piper did in childhood. You do not throw rocks at a man who's got a machine gun. I have come here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. And I'm all out of bubble gum. Well, here's the problem, folks. When I was a police officer in Springfield, I would have to amp up when people were being amped up. I would be calm and reasonable, solving their issues for them when they were calm and reasonable, seeking to solve their issues for them. And far more often than not, by the time that the police had to be called, usually they're beyond being able to do it themselves, and it's life. That's just life. People have problems and need the police sometimes. Some people never need them. Some people are them, retired, and walking through the depression and PTSD and such. Hi. The pension was secured for the genuine mental health crises, and that was secured September 27th, 2023. The folks that didn't want to talk about it a year ago don't have a choice a year on, because OPNF approved everything, the doctors, the medication, the counseling, the meditation, and of course just the legacy to begin with, who I was all along anyway. Life is good again in my head, and I am looking forward to making the Dose of Vitamin J show as good as it was going to be if I was able to retire the way that I had originally intended. The public service spirit, the genuinely empathetic and caring about others, wanting to help people, wanting to make Springfield, Ohio, if not the world itself, a better place, all of that is this heart. I was born in Community Hospital, 2615 East High Street, Springfield, Ohio. I am absolutely done saying Springfield, Ohio. I'm done saying those names that were said so many times, I lost friends over it. And I get it, because I didn't want to be around that me either. That's why I let nature take its course. And as I'm sitting on my couch again in the living room for, I think this is 9, I have to check the posts on social media. This isn't social media. This is live. This is my podcast. This is reality. But it's over a week now. And Thanksgiving 2023 was 1 year from Thanksgiving 2022. That's when everything fell apart. That's when things were really going south. Early this year, when I realized I was not going to be supported by anybody who could actually make a difference in that, I went into a major funk. And that major funk was very obvious. It's on public display. The beauty of it is you can look at my social media from 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, good luck finding the 20 years ago. I did do Zanga and MySpace, of course, but hell, Zanga is where Heather and I actually met. The internet is the voice of the people. It's where Amy and I started communicating. It's when that developed. It's how Lil and I communicate frequently. It was extremely helpful during the worst of the days to facilitate single fatherhood with all that going on. And it's the same stuff we all know. That 10,000 pounds, the elephant on your back, all that kind of stuff, and just screaming at yourself nonstop and believing the negative words that were said about you or said to you or thought by you or anything at all. If it's not what is genuinely going on, like right now as I sit here watching an OSW review of one of the 1991 WWF SWS Japan shows, the white noise in the hallway, I like that, with some nature sounds. I've stepped outside a couple times tonight enjoying just that crisp fall air at my property. The trees up, and that's cool. I've been playing a lot of Batman and WWE 22 and 23 video games, and I played a lot of Tony Hawk during the down year. I played Star Trek Fleet Command during that down year. I did whatever I could do to make it to where I was happy again. And now that I am, I'm happy about that again, too. So, the people that really don't know me, really don't. And it's sad, because I loved my career, I love my family, I love life. What people don't get is that I love life part is where the motivation to kick the living shit out of depression and PTSD, instead of denial or acting like it's tough, you go girl, or something like that, acting like it's strength to just be miserable. Like, that's just it. If you think you're being strong because you're boring through depression, maybe if you don't get out, you're not actually getting through it. You're just living with it day to day and accepting it. I refuse to accept it. I refused to accept PTSD and clinical depression as the end for me, or as life for me, or whatever it may be. And a lot of that started in my youth, growing up with, when the parents divorced and becoming impoverished, and that's basically where I'm at now because of, PTSD, depression, anxiety, all that other stuff. Where is a CISM team? Where is a CIT team? Where is any kind of leadership when I dropped 60 pounds and nobody seemed to notice? I'm swimming around in a police uniform and barely able to stand up because of the sleep meds that they had put me on. That was over a year ago. The fact being that all that weight loss happened and went basically unnoticed, that tells you how much I mattered to those people. And that is not talking about my daughter, because I'm not talking about children. I'm talking about the people that I was working with. I'm talking about the adults that I was living with. I'm talking about anyone who knew me at any point regularly and saw what was happening and was unable to be like, oh my, James is really going through it here. He's lost the career. He's going through it with this wife. He's lost a wife to death before, and just, he's not in that career anymore. Maybe this is a real mental health crisis, and it is temporary. But nobody wanted to say that. Mr. Heck and Miss Stevens would have you believe that I'm an insane gaslighter because of what they last knew, and then how this past year went. What they must understand is that past year is over. And what everyone on earth must understand now is James Davenport just walked through PTSD, depression, anxiety issues, that all this together had him in a genuine clinical depression funk, staying in the bedroom, blah, 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 and he's back out here in the living room. Hi, Lizzie, you're not Stonecat, your name's Lizzie, because Lizzie Hale. Hailstorm, phenomenal. Folks, CM Punk's back in WWE. How many more times is CM Punk or James Davenport gonna have to lose a popularity contest instead of his own mind? Stay positive. Keep watching wrestling. Keep following my stuff. I'm back, baby. And life is good again. You don't get to take away me feeling comfortable in my home. No one does. No one will. No one really intended to. But hey, that's what the depression and PTSD and such tends to do when it's real. I wish you all the best. It's a Rip It from Mr. Max. I don't really drink much alcohol anymore. Glad that weed is actually legal in Ohio now. But, folks, it's your mind. It's your life. Look around and give yourself a pat on the back for where you're at right now. Everyone on earth. Every single one of us. And stay positive this time. A year ago, the book was burned. This is the new book. Flagstar Bank, Chase Bank, Capital One Bank, Gas Buddy, Wrestling Classics Message Board, Brian Last, Arcadian Vanguard Network, Jim Cornette, all this kind of stuff. The guy that has been on these different websites and whatever else, legitimately, truly, seriously, and authentically, is here before you today, utterly, completely himself, because I always am. Whether it's when the shit is hitting the fan and I'm going through, those chemicals are all over the place, or here tonight where this basically is the last snowflake in the little snow globe decoration hitting the ground, and I can see clearly right into the man himself at the core of that ornament. And it feels wonderful. So yeah. Namaste, humanity. And stay positive.